Swallowed Star Q&A time. Question 1. What exactly is Luo Feng's true body? Are you curious why, in episode 162, when Luo Feng's human body broke through to the peak of Damian Master Level 9, he specifically emphasized human true body? Isn't Luo Feng's main body the golden horned beast? The reason lies in the fact that, deep in Luo Feng's heart, he has always regarded Earth as his roots. He is deeply convinced that only the body of an Earthling is his true self, and the golden horned beast is nothing more than a powerful clone. However, from a viewer's perspective, how should we define the true body and the clone? Ultimately, it all depends on the point of view. From a cultivation standpoint, Luo Feng's leap-like progress, the strength of his internal world, his various heaven-defying innate techniques, and amplification methods all originate from the golden horned beast, which are far beyond what an ordinary human body could achieve. From this angle, it is not wrong to say the golden horned beast is his true body. More importantly, from the moment Luo Feng performed soul possession of the golden horned beast and fully took over its body, he essentially became the golden horned beast. If his first clone had not been an Earthling, then the identity of Earthling Luo Feng would never have existed. In other words, the human body is simply an identity Luo Feng chose to better adapt to human society and interact with others. It is a self-created existence. Furthermore, when the golden horned beast first gave rise to the human body, it had to analyze and reconstruct Earthling DNA, where this clearly proves that the Earthling form was not an innate part of the golden horned beast's origin. In contrast, when the golden horned beast demises and its life core regenerates, it does not need to reanalyze its own genes. This directly shows that the human body is not the native true body. In summary, what Luo Feng calls his human true body is more a reflection of emotional attachment and personal identity. But from the perspective of power origin and the essence of life, the golden horned beast is the true main body. However, if we define the true body based on the essence of Luo Feng's soul, then another perspective emerges, which one that aligns with the viewpoint of the Primal Chaos City leader. As mentioned in earlier spoilers, when Luo Feng first visited Primal Chaos City, the city leader instantly sensed the presence of a life core within him. By all rights, this is a typical sign of an alien species, and he should have been killed on the spot. But he wasn't. The reason lies in the fact that Luo Feng's soul has its origins in humanity. In fact, the human race encompasses countless ethnicities and species, not all of which are suited to cultivation. Some groups, limited by the level of their genetic makeup, can only ever reach universe level at most, or even remain at the star level despite lifelong effort. Even among such weak races, there are individuals with astonishing comprehension, yet they remain shackled by their genetics. To break through these limits, cultivators with higher intelligence and ability often choose to possess life forms with superior genetic potential to gain better qualifications for cultivation. Hu Yanbo is one such example. Others might perform soul possession for reasons like body size or special talents, such as the Primal Chaos City leader himself. Some have even changed bodies multiple times over their lifetime in pursuit of the ideal vessel for cultivation. So, here's the question. Are these individuals momentarily demon clan, then prison clan, and then human? In the eyes of the Primal Chaos City leader, this behavior is merely a cultivation method, with no inherent right or wrong. The soul is the true essence of self, and the body is merely a vessel for the soul to reside in. Soul possession is just a relocation of the soul where the essence remains the same. For example, if a Zerg powerhouse possesses a human body, they would still stand on the side of the Zerg, acting for the Zerg's benefit. Conversely, even though Luo Feng possessed the body of the golden horned beast, his values, principles, and racial allegiance remained firmly rooted in humanity. He continues to act in the interest of the human race and views the universe through the lens of a human. Therefore, from the perspective of soul origin, Luo Feng has always been human. And perhaps the true meaning of true body lies in that deep-rooted sense of belonging and identity within the soul. Moreover, when a cultivator breaks through to the true God level, regardless of how many times they've undergone soul possession or how many clones they possess, their body will ultimately be reconstructed into their true self. This ties closely to the very nature of the clone talent, which is an ability granted by the original universe itself, unrelated to cultivation efforts. Because of this, as long as a cultivator remains below the true God level and under the protection of the original universe, they can use this talent to maintain multiple clones scattered across different places, cultivating simultaneously. However, once a cultivator gains control over their own miniature universe and advances to become a true God, this protection completely vanishes. In fact, they will begin to face suppression from the willpower of the original universe, and even the clone talent will be stripped away. At that point, no matter how attached they may have been to any of their physical bodies, all clones will return to the soul's origin and be reconstituted into a single, unified body. Take Luo Feng as an example. Because of the existence of the golden horned beast, he possesses 4 physical bodies. Yet even if he had never chosen an earthling as one of his clones, once he steps into the true god level and has a miniature universe, his final body will still be reconstructed in the form of an earthling. This is precisely why Luo Feng places such importance on cultivating his human body, striving to elevate it to the level of a perfect divine body. In contrast, he does not invest the same level of passion into cultivating the golden horned beast's body. This principle is especially evident on the origin continent. Influenced by the overlord Yuan, almost all cultivators, except in extreme combat scenarios, prefer to present themselves in human form. This is also why Zhuoshan Ke, or known as the Sitting Mountain Guest, chose human as the foundation race twice when cultivating a powerful new race. From this perspective, using the soul to define the true body is, to a certain extent, a valid argument. After all, even if one's appearance may be human, the original body might very well come from a plant, a bird, or even a beast lineage. Question 2. Can the Zerg Queen fuse with Blood River crystals? In theory, any flesh and blood lifeform can fuse with Blood River crystals. So, you might wonder, since Blood River crystals can greatly enhance combat power, why doesn't Luo Feng share some with Irina? After all, he possesses over 9,000 Blood River crystals, which are far more than he could ever fuse by himself. Moreover, Irina is his sole slave, her existence a closely guarded secret. Luo Feng could easily bypass the virtual universe company's regulations and give her some in private. But he doesn't. The reason is simple: the cost-effectiveness of a Zerg Queen fusing with Blood River crystals is extremely low, but it would be a luxurious waste. The Zerg combat system is centered around swarm tactics, with the Queen serving as a commander, usually hidden in the rear within the Zerg hive and rarely engaging in battle directly. The true value of Blood River crystals lies not only in raising life gene levels but also in activating the Blood River power during battle, enabling explosive combat strength. For a queen who rarely enters the battlefield and merely controls her swarm from behind the scenes, the benefits of Blood River crystals are practically null. If one truly wanted to maximize the value of Blood River crystals, it would make more sense to give them to Zerg warriors on the front lines so they could amplify their power in real combat. However, this presents another problem. A single Blood River crystal typically only boosts an individual's power slightly, which is not enough to cause a qualitative change. Luo Feng aims to build a Zerg army in the millions. He simply doesn't have enough Blood River crystals to go around. Even more importantly, Zerg warriors are essentially mass-produced combat puppets created by the Queen, lacking the value of individual cultivation. Even if Luo Feng handpicked a few dozen Zerg warriors to enhance with Blood River crystals, it would still be a drop in the ocean, which making no real impact in the grand scheme of swarm warfare. Unless Luo Feng possessed an essentially infinite supply of Blood River crystals, there's simply no reason to waste such top-tier resources on Irina or the Zerg warriors under her command. Question 3. Why not simply kill the alien true gods to completely end the war? Since the virtual universe was first introduced in the anime, whether it was the profound mysteries of secret techniques or the precise testing of original laws and willpower, viewers could feel the virtual universe's omnipresent and almost almighty power. It's easy to imagine just how powerful the being who created such a secret technique system must be. In fact, the founder of the virtual universe secret techniques, Ancestor Yuan, was, before being suppressed by the willpower of the original universe, unquestionably the strongest among all the true gods in the original universe, aside from the mountain-sitting guest. Once freed from suppression, he would immediately break through to the void true god level, becoming one of the very few beings capable of achieving such a leap before the reincarnation era arrives. Thus, the question arises, since Ancestor Yuan was so powerful, why didn't he simply wipe out all the true god-level powerhouses of hostile races before they could grow stronger? Once these alien races lost their true gods, they could no longer ascend to the ranks of peak races. At that point, they would either become vassals or retreat into remote, barren starfields, lacking resources and stagnating in development. Such a situation would undoubtedly have further solidified humanity's dominance. However, the real reason is that even Ancestor Yuan wanted to, but he couldn't. This is because, within the original universe, true gods not only fail to receive the protection of the willpower of the original universe but actually suffer power suppression. As a result, they can only exert strength slightly greater than that of a universe master, far from the full might a true god should possess. In other words, under the original universe's suppression, even if two true gods differ greatly in strength, it is nearly impossible for one to kill the other. In fact, even killing a universe master would be extremely difficult without paying a heavy price. And that price is the punishment from the original universe's willpower. If a true god ignores warnings and forcibly kills a universe master, they will not only suffer severe backlash from the universe's source but could even be heavily injured or worse, demise. This is the fundamental reason why true gods rarely personally intervene within the original universe. Thus, major powers choose to open battlefields in certain starfield of the universe, allowing warriors of the level of King Immortal and lower to slaughter each other and compete for survival. After all, cultivators have extremely long lifespans. Without external interference, endless years of reproduction would inevitably lead to population booms, causing intense resource shortages. War, though brutal, becomes the most direct means of regulation where it maintains a reasonable death rate while also providing powerful races opportunities to expand territory and seize resources. Question 4. Hong possesses outstanding talent, so why is he still unable to ascend to the God King level? In a previous video, I mentioned that even if Hong were to break through to the Void True God level, that would likely be his ultimate limit. You might wonder whether this contradicts earlier spoilers, given that Hong had demonstrated astonishing talent in terms of mental power, so much so that he earned high recognition from true God-level powerhouse. With such a profound mental power, why is he still unable to step into the ranks of the absolute peak? As I have said before, cultivation of mental power serves only as a supporting factor. It can make Hong sharper in comprehending the original laws compared to ordinary cultivators, but this advantage, at best, only increases his efficiency by about 20 to 30%. Compared to someone like Luo Feng, who already possesses extremely high innate cultivation talent, there remains a chasm that is difficult to cross. In fact, the so-called level of talent is always a relative conclusion. Without a point of comparison, there would be no distinction between high and low, and with different points of comparison, the judgment will differ significantly. Thus, in a previous spoiler, I specifically emphasized the context of within the human race. Undeniably, among all human cultivators in the original universe, Hong's cultivation talent absolutely ranks within the top 20, and in fact, he ranks 11th. Even spanning across multiple reincarnation eras, he is still considered outstanding. It's important to note that the original universe itself is not a favorable environment for cultivation. To be able to cultivate to the Void True God level within the original universe or even the universe ocean is already exceedingly rare. However, such achievements are only impressive within the original universe. If Hong were compared to the powerhouses from the 3000 original universes collectively, his talent would appear much dimmer. In contrast, figures like the primal Chaos City leader and ancestor Yuan would still shine brightly even among the talents of all 3000 original universes. Going further, if the scope of comparison were expanded to include the native cultivators of the origin continent, only ancestor Yuan would still display overwhelming cultivation talent. After all, even without the guidance of the illusory origin Great Tao, he was able to combine the world origin and the illusory origin Great Tao to create secret techniques and even pioneer the method of cloning, a glimpse into just how heaven-defying his talent was. By comparison, Hong falls short. Even with the cultivation resources and guidance on the Great Taos provided by Luo Feng, he still failed to comprehend the source of the Great Tao of Laws. It must be noted that only by truly comprehending a source of the Great Tao of Laws can a cultivator break through to the eternal true God level. As for Luo Feng, even across the entire chaotic origin space and among countless cultivators, his cultivation talent remains dazzlingly extraordinary. This is because his cultivation speed is simply terrifying, fast to the point of making one's heart tremble. Moreover, the path Luo Feng chose was not only the most difficult system but also the most extreme route within it, drastically multiplying the difficulty of cultivation. If Luo Feng did not possess exceptional talent, he would have already been crushed by this enormous shackle of cultivation. Fortunately, although this extreme system is excruciatingly difficult to cultivate, once achieved, it allows a cultivator to unleash combat power tens or even hundreds of times stronger than normal cultivators at the same level, truly achieving invincibility at the same level. Well, that's all for this video. Thanks for watching this video. Wish you a wonderful day.